In chopping out. Okay. Hi. Okay. I think we'll start now. So, I'm gonna go through the very few movies that I have watched this month. I mean, January. Yeah, you get the idea, right? I'm gonna go through them. Talk about them with you guys. I know it's really late, and I picked probably like the worst time to do this, but I don't know. I'm tired, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Let me know. Is the mic okay? Is the mic quality okay? Is there like a ton of buzzing or something? Or is there not? Okay. It's just gonna take a minute to set up. Let's see. Okay. My quality is a-okay. Well, that's good. Because, I mean, yeah, it's good. I probably should have made a thumbnail for this, to make it look professional or whatever, but I did not do that. I definitely did not do that. Okay. Alright. So, I know no one's probably going to say anything, which is fine. I honestly wouldn't either. Because, well, it's like 8 p.m. where I'm at right now. It's probably like even later in other places. But, yeah, anyways. Okay, I'm gonna share it. And we're going to get this rolling. Okay, we're going to share this. And gonna go to lists. And then, okay, well, you guys don't. Okay, we're going to go to January 2022 ranked. Now, it's pretty obvious. You can already see them all. I just kind of want to talk about them because it's fun. I like talking about stuff because, yeah, why not? That's what I do for this entire channel. I just talk about stuff. So, yeah. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze. By the way, I like all of these movies. I enjoy all of them. I thought they were all at least entertaining. So, TMNT, Secret of the Ooze. Fun movie. Very entertaining. Obviously, not the greatest thing on earth. It's a stupid movie. It's not the smartest, most deep thing I've ever watched, but it's fun. This is probably a guilty pleasure of mine, and I think it emulates more so what some comic book movies should do, with the type of premises they have. TMNT is a goofy storyline, okay? Sometimes it's handled seriously. I think, like in other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles adaptations, they've handled, serious stuff before. But they take something stupid and just have fun with it, It's goofy, it's ridiculous, it makes absolutely no sense half the time. And I had a fun time watching it. It's a fun movie. It's enjoyable. I don't have anything else to say besides that. It's fun, It's just a movie that it's enjoyable. I like it. I'm not ashamed of it. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is Batman: The Long Halloween. Now, I'm including both of these movies because, well, I think it's one storyline. Okay, so it makes sense to include both of them. Technically, I've watched 8 movies in January, but I'm counting both of these movies as one. So, yeah. I think Batman: The Long Halloween is fun. Well, not exactly fun, but like, okay, I don't know. Sorry, I'm tired. Okay, it's a fun. Not. Why do I keep using the word fun? Sorry, it's just because because I talked about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Whatever. This is a good Batman story. I feel like this succeeds at being a Batman story better than, a decent amount of them. A decent amount of the live-action Batman movies. I'd say a couple of them at least. That movie Superman, I think, is a good example. But I think it gives a good storyline, It's in 2 movies, and I think it deserves to have a part 1 and a part 2, Even if it doesn't end the greatest on either one of them. I mean, as an overall story, I think it's good. I do like it. I like the arc for Toothface. I like the twist. I really like the twist. I just think it's a good Batman story. I don't know what else to say about it besides the fact that compared to other Batman stories, it does a way better job taking the time for us to understand these characters than a lot of other ones do. And I think it deserves to be appreciated as such. So, because of that, I think it's a 4.5 out of 10. Maybe not 4.5 out of 5. Maybe a 4. It's around that range. But I think that Batman: Long Halloween is a good storyline. And the way it's handled here makes me even more excited for the Batman. I still need to watch the Long Halloween films. I think there's 2 of them. Yeah, there are 2 of them. I've read the comics, and the comics are, I'd say, better, but of course they always are for the most part. But yeah, I'd say the comics are great as well. It's just a great storyline. Hey, Orge, been reading Long Halloween comic series. Yeah, I read it a long time ago. It's been a while, but I read it, and yeah, it's great. It's a great series. It's so engaging, intriguing. I think I finished it in like a couple of days just because of how engaging it is. Just a very engaging, fun, entertaining story. And I don't think it's hard to really take that away from it. So, now that we've finished, now these top 4 are actually all my favorites, which is crazy to think about. 2 of them are already my favorites. I just rewatched, and the other 3. Okay, never mind. Sorry, top 5. The other 3 from my top 5. I've rewatched recently, and I've considered them to be some of my favorite movies of all time. Which I know for me is kind of redundant because I consider almost anything some of my favorite movies ever made, but I watched some great movies in January, with the few that I ended up watching, but that's besides the point. So, number 5, Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels. where do I begin, you know? Like, I expected a great movie, obviously, from Guy Ritchie, even though this is the first movie I've seen from him. I've heard great things about this movie. I've heard very entertaining things about this movie. And it overall delivered. It just delivered. It delivered on everything I could have asked for. The script is to perfection. The way everything, all the plot lines and stuff are connected, the way they all end up at the end of the movie is some of the greatest screenwriting I have ever seen. And I think it deserves that credit. I think people don't credit it enough for that because everything is connected to everything and it's connected so seamlessly perfect. Every storyline is executed in a way that the way it ends is just something that's not exactly satisfying, but such an interesting and fascinating way to end every specific storyline. I feel like Guy Ritchie might have been inspired by Tarantino. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do get a lot of those Tarantinoisms from this movie, and that's not an insult. That's a massive compliment, in my opinion. The fact that, I mean, I'd say it's on caliber. I think better than Reservoir Dogs and Inglourious Basterds. I think it's better than the two Tarantino movies that I've seen. But great movie, one of my favorites. Just a blast. Next one, number 4, we have Snatch. Now, I don't have as much to say about this as this movie because I feel like this is just this, but better. So it's really hard to explain exactly why this is so great because everything that is so great about this movie, I just said about this one, except for it's better. It's more entertaining. It's more fun. It's more engaging. I like the cast more. I like the storylines more. I like everything more about this movie. I think everything about Snatch is probably better than Lock, Stock. Maybe not so much to the point where it's miles better, but to the point where it's improvement. It's an improvement over Lock, Stock. The first one, Lock, Stock, I feel like was sort of this gateway into this weird into these weird Guy Ritchieisms, and this was an improved version of that. And overall, I think it's a great improved version of that. I love the characters, the storylines, the cinematography. It's just a better movie, and I can't say much more than that. Maybe I could say one other thing. Brad Pitt was great. So, yeah. Snatch, phenomenal film. A movie that I could rewatch again, and I don't think that there's anything that I could have wanted more from it. You know? So, now that that's out of the way, we are going into the top 3. Number 3, Autumn Sonata. Now, I feel like I can't really talk a ton about this movie without spoiling it. I won't spoil it, don't worry. But there is so much in this movie. Like, the beginning of it is so, natural. Like, the beginning of the movie is so, like, I don't want to explain it, but the beginning of the movie is so much more calming and is just so much more of a normal environment that once it really gets going, it's like light and day. It really is light and day because it just hits you and you don't know how to feel. You don't know how you're supposed to react. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to think. You just watch it. You just watch how this movie turns into, in a way, a train wreck, but in a good way, Not like as in, oh, this movie's so bad, it's a train wreck, but like how the fact that it escalates to a point of just shock. Like, this probably has the greatest third act of all time. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but one of the greatest third acts of all time. And it's just two people yelling at each other. That doesn't sound like a great third act, but the way that it is executed is amazing. It's shocking how good this third act is with the mother and the daughter, and then her just scowling her and just letting all of her frustrations out on her. All these frustrations that none of us even knew about until this point in the film. The dialogue is so perfect. The main actress is phenomenal, probably one of the greatest performances I have ever seen. This time, I'm not exaggerating when I say that. That is one of the greatest performances I have probably ever witnessed. It's so personal in a way, you know? It's so... It gives me emotions I thought I never had. And I think that's the type of movie that I am willing to sit through. You know, and the fact that the third act is like 20 minutes long, it's just them talking and shouting at each other, and I never felt bored at all. I never felt a single second of boredom throughout the entire movie and those entire 20 minutes because it's so engaging, it's so intriguing, it's so just fantastic. So, because of that, it is only number 3 on this list, which is shocking. But it's the other two are some of my favorite movies ever made. And this is like number 15 on that list. So, yeah. Okay, number 2. My favorite Wes Anderson movie by a long shot. And just one of my favorite movies ever. Rushmore. Now, I didn't realize certain things in this movie until I rewatched it finally. Like, I finally rewatched it. It took me so long, but I've rewatched it. And I've realized how real this film is. And I've kind of realized that a little bit when I first watched it, but I didn't realize how real this film actually feels at points and how personal it feels at points. Because our main character is not a good guy. He's not a funny or quirky guy like someone from Fantastic Mr. Fox. He's not, some sort of superhero or anything like that. He sucks. He really sucks at points. He does things that are scummy. He does things that are selfish. He acts like a complete jerk at times. He does stuff just to get his way and doesn't care really about what others think at points. And he loses constantly his relationships that he's had because of his own actions and his own consequences. There's a certain point in the film where he loses everybody that's really ever cared about him. He loses all of his relationships. He loses everyone, and he's isolated and alone, and it's depressing, you know? Maybe that's not exactly what the movie's focusing on. It's sort of that in a way, though. Another point of it is obviously the whole passion and following your passion no matter what and fighting for it no matter what, even when it gets harder to keep moving forward and keep pursuing it no matter how, no matter what happens, which is a great part of the movie. It's just a constant, package, And normally Wes Anderson isn't really known for realism, and obviously this film isn't the most real movie ever, but it feels the most real. Like, not the most real, but out of all of Wes Anderson's movies, it's by far the most real, the most personal, and just one of the most just realistic movies. Not realistic, but one of the most sad but also heartwarming movie I've ever seen. It's up there. It's weird. It's just a weird movie that has a lot of things going, that has a lot of tones going on, with the way it's portrayed, and it works perfectly. It's a great film. Absolutely love it. Best Wes Anderson movie I've ever seen. I've not seen The French Dispatch, but that would have to be some movie, I think, to top it. But yeah, Rushmore. I mean, great film. Great movie. Yeah. Golden Pizza Brain. Hello. Hi. Okay. Now, the final movie we're going to be talking about is Whiplash. I think this movie's been on my top 10 for a long time, yet I don't think I've rewatched it until January, which is crazy to think about. But I did not rewatch this one until January, and I don't know why. I just didn't rewatch it. It's not that I didn't want to. I just never got around to it, so I just never did. For over a year, and I was afraid that this movie was going to drop down on my favorites list. I was afraid that I would not love it as much as I used to. I was afraid that I just wouldn't think it was as great as I used to. And no, it's in my top 4 now. It was in my top 8, and now it's in my top 4. So clearly I loved it even more on the second watching. Yeah, I did. it's a great movie. I think that everything about this movie is almost to perfection. It's obviously not a perfect movie. In my opinion, that doesn't exist. But it is, I'd say, one of the greatest films of all time. And I'd say it is so close to perfect in so many ways. I mean, the opening scene, that phenomenal entire camera shot, the way that it just pans, like the way it just, in a way, I don't know how to explain it, but like just drags forward slowly. Shots like that are what makes the movie just so immersive. I think the cinematography is A+ quality, in my opinion. For the fact that the budget was so small, it looks like something from, it looks like it's, $100 million. It looks like it's like $100 million. That's how great it looks, It looks beautiful. It looks gorgeous. And just the fact that they were able to do so much with so little is inspiring, in my opinion. Now, the cinematography isn't the greatest part about the movie, in my opinion. Obviously, that is the message, the point, the reason why this movie exists, and that idea of passion and hard work and having to earn what you get and having to push yourself to the fullest limit in whatever you are desiring to do. Since I have been in high school and such, and with certain things that I love, I have been trying to work harder to pursue them and such. I relate to this movie so much more now. The fact that pushing yourself to the absolute limit, pushing yourself until you can't do it anymore, until you can't even breathe, is immersive. I never really knew or thought I would understand drumming or like the passion of an instrument, especially drumming of all of them, in anything ever, especially, I don't know why I said especially, but just ever, I never thought that would happen. And then I watched this movie and I understand it fully. I understand it fully. I understand the hard work, the passion that can go into anything. Not just a sport, not just an instrument, but anything you do, anything that you're desiring to do, and having to push to the absolute limit so that you are able to be one of the greatest in whatever the heck you're going to do. And I think that's inspiring. I think that's something I can relate to. That's probably something you can relate to. And while there's people that love La La Land and such, and while I do probably need to rewatch it, I don't think I'll ever see it being better than this. Even though I heard that apparently, maybe this is wrong or not, but I have heard that apparently Whiplash was only made so we could create La La Land. I mean, maybe that is true. Either way, no matter why this film was made, I'm glad it was made. I am so grateful for it. Whiplash is a true masterpiece. Agreed. Great movie. I mean, it's just a great, amazing film. Dang it, I had no idea you were live. But anyway, how are you? I'm okay. I'm doing fine, It's been okay. Everything's been just to me. Whiplash is amazing. Need to rewatch it. Yes, rewatch it. It's shorter, too. I don't know why I never rewatched it. It's not because it was long or anything. It's only like 100 minutes. It is a movie I do recommend giving a second viewing because it helps a lot. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video or live stream, whatever you would call it. See you guys whenever I do something else, which will probably be in 5 years, but bye.